Hi there, this is Prashant. In today's session, we're going to talk about Chef InSpec, like translating your CIS benchmark to InSpec control. Let's look at the high level agenda. Yep. So for today's session, I'm going to use these softwares like Chef InSpec, and I'm using just for demo like Docker containers. So I have multiple containers in Docker. So one is workstation where I'm writing my code, like writing the inspect controls, and another machine is target where I'm running my inspect control against. Yeah. So so there are a lot of compliance standards being released by multiple organizations like Center for Internet Security and Department of Defense and GDPR. So every company, they must follow certain regulatory standards or some other compliance recommendation, right? So periodically this all organizations release some recommendation around compliance, but they do not state what kind of tools or what kind of softwares can help you achieving this compliance, right? So those kind of things, like you need to figure out on your own, like what tools you're going to use to automate this compliance, right? So high level, let's say you get some requirements from one of the company about new compliance recommendation. I can quickly show you like what kind of see, this is one of the example. So let's say like this is the one of the CIS recommendation where it's showing like your U mask should be this, right? And so there are a lot of checks they provide, and you need to uh, complete all those checks using uh, your script or some kind of mechanism, the way you do. Like in some of the company, they do like manually, like logging into each server and then run these commands and get the output and provide this output to external auditors or uh, management, right? So let's look at the high level approach, like what you do generally. Like sometimes you do manually, and you may automate using shell script, but this both the options, like they are not that much robust and portable in future, right? So you really need something which can help you detecting your environment, like where the problem is, and then correcting it, right? And meet your compliance needs based on the reports you need by your customers, right? So there should be something like which can help you doing the continuous detection, continuous correction, and provide all kind of audit reports with less manual intervention, right, to compliance officer. So that's what we're gonna do today, right? uh, let's quickly jump onto the demo. So I have all the steps ready for the demo, and let me bring my terminal. Okay. So I have Docker machine. Let's check the status first. Yeah, it's running. Yeah. Yeah. So I have two containers running. One is the workstation, and another is for target machine. Right. So let's follow the steps. First of all, I'm logging into my workstation. Let's see where I am. Yeah, so I'm inside my workstation as of now. So I'm just checking like what's my UMask right now in this machine. It's yeah. So now I'm logging into, like, I'm in workstation, but I just want to check my UMask in the profile in my target machine. So I'm just doing SSH and running this command. So it doesn't report anything, but you can verify the output using $question mark. So I'm running that. Yeah, so it doesn't return anything actually, right? And same, I'm checking for the etc profile. Earlier I checked for base RC. Yep. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, like creating the uh, profile for meeting this need, like my checking my UMask based on the CIS benchmark recommendation, right? So let's create one profile in InSpec. Yeah, so it has created one of the profile like CIS Ubuntu. There are a lot of predefined templates or profiles available in Chef Supermarket. You can just check that and use those profiles, right? And you can also customize based on your requirements. So I have just created one of the profile for CIS Ubuntu, right? And yeah, here it has created this. So now I'm just removing the default file because I want to update with my content. So I'm just removing the default content of this. Yeah. Okay. So now let's write the control. Okay, so I'm just going to write one of the control. So let's understand this control in detail. Like, okay, so the control name is CIS Ubuntu LTS 5.4.4, and this indicates your impact. Even though, let's say, in CIS documents in recommendation you don't see anything about impact, but this is kind of what's the relevance of importance for this control. So it talks about the high level impact, or you can say how critical it is. Like, let's say you have thousands of controls and each one having their different impact. So based on that you can determine which one I need to remediate on priority, right? So that's why we define the impact for each control. uh, the second is title. Like, I'm just giving like what my checks looks like what it's gonna do, like ensure the default user UMask it's 027, right? Defining the description, like default UMask determines the permission of files created by users, right? And this is the InSpec resource. So file is one of the InSpec resource. There are a lot of predefined resources available in InSpec, so you can use those. I'm using the file because I have to check, like, any files created by users, it should have this UMask uh, recommended UMask, right? So I'm using the file resource and giving the just path what file I'm going to check, right? And its and what its content should match my desired UMask, right? So it's very human readable and very easy to understand this language. Like, you need not to be very expert in a different programming language like C, C++ or Java. It's very I would say there is a very small learning curve for this InSpec uh, controls. Yeah. So Okay, so once I created this, okay, so now I'm just going to verify this, like check inspec has the check command, like you can just verify that. Yeah, so it will just verify like whether it's valid or any errors or warnings, those kind of things, right? And how many controls does it have, right? And now once you have this control, what you can do is, so run this control against your target container, right? So I'm just going to run this. Yep. So you can see in the summary, like there are one control which we had in our profile, it's one control failure, right? And two failures. So both the control, like both the tests are failed actually. So it doesn't have the desired UMass permission as recommended by CIS benchmark, right? So you can see all the expected and what's the failed status, everything you can see in this output actually, right? So you can run this inspec using exec on the target machine, like you are using SSH here. At the same time, you can store all your profiles, like this kind of whatever profiles you are creating. You need some place to store this, like you can store in GitHub or supermarket, right? Or you can have the Chef Automate or compliance server for storing all these outputs and everything. So and then you can use this output for generating the reports for your auditors. So yeah, I think we covered everything. Thanks for watching it.